What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's Off the Air. It is Tuesday, September 3rd, my birthday eve. I'm stoked to be here. I've got the best crew, the Tuesday night crew, hanging with me. Send this one out to the DMV out of the gates. Get the twos up for the Tuesday night delight. What is good, Shoddy?
What up, what up, what up? I am back for a double dose of Tuesday. I'm tired, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I have a little bit of energy because I'm excited to talk NXT with y'all, man. Good to see y'all, brothers. And yeah, if you haven't already in the comments, throw them twos up in the skizzy.
Absolutely. We can't have a Tuesday night though without that guy. You should do what is it again, Driz?
Good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. It's your boy Drizzy, aka Plug Funny, the wrestling plug. You just waking up from a nice nap, don't know what to watch? Hit me up. Me and my handy dandy remote will give you something. We got you.
Absolutely stoked to be here. Wild weekend in pro wrestling. Obviously, we had a 2 pay-per-view weekend. Like Shad had like a 4 or 5 show weekend. I had like a 4 show weekend.
Yeah.
Driz. Like
Between
we were
all the wrestling that play, these guys do all the work on here aspect of it. I'm the one watching everything.
it's true.
Yeah,
It's
no,
true.
for real.
No,
If you see the X in the tweets, it's Driz over here, man. We some hard working MFers to say the
it's
very least.
I'm looking up and I'm like, yeah, it's Tuesday. That feels like it was a month ago, but it's not. It was that recent. No Mercy was electric Sunday night, to say the very least. We've got the follow up show. I enjoyed it. Drizzo, for a long time on this show, you've talked about if NXT has like one thing booking wise, predictably, you're going to see a little bit of a slower show coming off of a PLE. And I think that's kind of what we saw tonight. Wouldn't you agree?
It's I think it's in the formula. You get this really big show, and you don't want to lose the moment of it. So you relive it. You'll sit there and get you. We got the clip shows of it. Like the night after Mania when they keep on showing music videos of things that happen. That's what this was basically. You got a lot more of let's go back to this moment. Oh, let's go back to this moment. We had Joe Hendry here. We had Jordan Grace here. Like stuff
Mhm.
like that. That's what this was.
Absolutely. I agree. I think
Oh
probably
yeah, Joe Grace.
the most notable part of the night, Trick Williams and Pete Dunne, but
Mm-hmm.
more importantly, also Trick Williams, and even before that with All
Yeah.
Ego as well. Those two, when it comes to the title picture, let's get into that out of the gates. I mean, we're gonna have round 2 next Tuesday, no
Mm-hmm.
doubt about it, and it's gonna be last man standing. It was the middle of the card
Yes.
tonight. It will not be that a week from today. I can confidently say that.
No.
And I'm not the one that's booking the show. No doubt about it. I I liked it, but I'm more excited for next week's match. It's one of those where it's like they did really leave it there for us for next week.
Mhm.
Shad, do you think it's Trick or do you think it's Pete Dunne? And did you like the execution of tonight?
Very good question on who wins. Let me first and foremost say I thought they executed the match beautifully today. To that exact point that you just mentioned, it was enough, to keep you satisfied and give you a good taste in craving the meal that we're gonna get next week, which is looking to be a jam-packed episode. It's USA Network week on all three shows, which is cool for them as a network. But man, the match, I thought it was a creative way to end it off, and I like how they kind of threaded them just beating each other up backstage and can't getting their hands off of each other throughout the entire night, leading it into the match, and Ava saying, "Go, just fight it out right now," and then having a double count out finish. I was telling y'all during the show, This Trick and Pete Dunne feud has a lot more of my attention than Pete Dunne and Sheamus on Raw. I don't know what it is about it. I feel like it's just the fact that Trick and Pete have done an excellent job that make this so personal, and there isn't really like a story within why they should hate each other. It's just Pete Dunne chilling in the NXT locker room, antagonizing Trick, beating Trick, and we've just created a great storyline within it. And it's one of those situations where I'm super stoked for Trick because I think these are elements and feuds that help Trick develop into the superstar that we know he is, especially let's say this is his last rodeo ride on NXT before he gets called up. Being in the ring, being in the primetime feud with a NXT legend like Pete Dunne, it benefits him. Now next week we got the big time match, the last man standing. My heart and my gut are aligned in this situation, and I want to say that Trick Willie is going to pull off the victory. The winner gets the opportunity to get a match versus Ethan Page. It looks like this CW debut match, we got one match we'll talk about, I'm sure, with Julia and Roxanne. That's built up to it. I think Trick is the perfect incumbent opponent for Ethan Page and allowing him to probably get that title back in Chicago, right? Your hometown, Clark, on the
Mhm.
CW opening show. I think that would be a big time moment because that crowd is gonna be electric when the Whoop That Trick song comes out. So I got Trick Williams beating Pete Dunne next week, and I think it makes the most sense for that to happen because we need to help. This is your guy. This is one of your top guys. So yeah, I got Trick winning. But man, kudos to those guys. This feud is awesome.
I agree. I think the feud's
Mhm.
been awesome. I mean, the Chicago crowd's gonna go wild for Trick Williams.
Mhm.
That pop will be electric. I have a hard time thinking he doesn't pick up the win against Pete Dunne. Although it's interesting, Bobby Petito over here in the comments goes, Pete Dunne should be the next challenge for the NXT Championship. I'm wondering if we also, given the stipulation with last man standing, don't have the opportunity for a double count out, triple threat action. Drizzy, do you have thoughts on maybe that as a possibility for the finish there?
What I think is funny is I think Shawn Michaels listens to this show because this is the exact thing I think I suggested for the way that Pete Dunne and Trick ended tonight is how I said that Zach Wentz and Wesley needed to end. But I know he's listening to me. He's listening to me. I actually think this is actually has been a great main event feud, a great detour instead of just putting Trick back into the title picture because we know we talk about it weekly. The NXT main event division is a little skimpy, just a little bit, and they're trying to find ways to beef it up and having fighting everywhere. Pete Dunne is a good way to sit there and give Trick something to do, make him battle tested, get him showing that killer instinct that that you need your champion to have. I don't want to say I don't hate it. The the last man standing match. So I like the stipulation for this feud, but I still kind of want it to not end that way. So you still have to have. So then it just ends up being ego done and trick off for the belt. I really don't want. I want like they've built this up so goodwill now, where they're spending so much time beating each other. You want to see how far they can take it. Can they take it to the levels of Edge and Matt Hardy and go flying off the stage somewhere? You know they're gonna do it up for the CW. I think because of the star power of Trick, the star power of Pete Dunne, and what they need to do to bring Ego up, because this Ego's reign has not been the greatest. He seems to
Yeah.
luck into a lot of his wins, and it kind of makes it hard for us to trust him as a heel champion. I think the triple threat match is the way to go with this.
Uh, I totally see your point there. And who in the world would it hurt to have a triple threat match? We had Unrealized Thoughts over on Instagram said Pete's on triple duty. Yeah, and if it's triple threat duty, I'm cool with that too. Right? Like, and if we can come up with a clever finish, some kind of a dual knockout, I think that's the route that I would take this when it comes to the last man standing, right? I don't know if you remember like No Way Out 01. You had the 3 stages match with Austin and Triple H. I always bring up. You had the sledgehammer at the same time as the bat, and then they just both fell down, and that was it. Something like that. Like neither one's gonna get up, or whatever it may be. Something even similar to what we saw tonight, right? Neither one's gonna answer the count.
Be a creative way to do it. I wouldn't be mad at that either. I just know in some manner Trick Williams got to be in that match at the
Yeah,
CW.
he does.
Because at the end of the day, the goal is still the same. I called it the NXT after Stand and Deliver last year. Or would it be this year? This year. Trick Williams versus Obafemi, main event of Stand and Deliver.
Yep,
Title versus title.
I like that. That's a heck of a match.
It'll be
That's
title versus title. It'll be title versus title, but you know NXT doesn't allow double champions, so whoever wins the world title automatically vacates the
right.
North American title.
But I
Yeah.
mean, you called it early too, by the way, Driz. If that comes true, I'm like you're the oracle officially. That's, I
Just
mean,
knows
that's
that
one of the
I work
earliest
for Shawn
calls.
Michaels. I work for Shawn Michaels
He
undercover.
knows he's actually pulling the strings behind the scenes this entire time, Drizzy. You
I'm
didn't tell
booking
us
all of it. I'm booking all of NXT.
this whole
Why you
time.
think Jada Parker's getting such a push? It's all
That's
me.
nice.
It was me, Austin. It was always
It's
me.
always me. That's so good. All right. We've got tag team action to cover up next. We've got Hank and Tank, the
Shake and
Rascals,
bake. Shake and bake.
and then we've got some Gallus involvement as well. I'm liking the tag team scene better than I did a few weeks ago when I completely tore it apart on the daily. But it's mostly just because it's pretty dang good in NXT right now. It's like the
Yeah,
only
true.
show that's doing a good job with it. I don't understand it. Can you make some sense of the whole thing? To me, Driz, why is it NXT that just gets things right?
I feel like Shawn Michaels realizes that he has like, why do I have all these guys to wear the same clothes? Oh, they're tag team. Let's throw them in something. I really feel like NXT understands how to make you miss people. And one thing they have done a great job of, and even when they want you to miss them, they're still around in some way, form, or fashion. Gallus is still in the backstage area of these shows, and they're always upset about something. You always have Hank and Tank doing something. They're always on screen doing something goofy, uh, do just making something for themselves. And the Rascals, although they are technically TNA, have made sure that their presence is felt in on NXT. Now, the tag division is a little bit skimpy all over WWE. It just seems that NXT realizes they have them. So thank God that they actually used them in this formal way. I I really starting to wish that the tag division would kind of conform to what the women's tag division does, and you just have tag champs going to each show because I feel like with all the title champion the tag teams they have, it'll it fits a more hungry division like that. But that's my TED talk for today. The triple threat tag match. This was not gonna be a super. I don't. If you're expecting like a 5-star tag match, I wouldn't. This was a decent, servable match. I think this did a good job of highlighting the strengths of all the teams, the smash mouth nature of Gallus, the hungry. We want to be seen of Hank and Tank, the high flying and speed wrestling of the Rascals. There's no other team that does speed wrestling in NXT better than the Rascals. The only other team that's doing it just as well is the actual champs. And I think this is going to be a really good match with the Rascals who won this triple threat match going up against Frazier and Axiom. This is going to be a really good speed match. It's gonna look exactly like a not an NXT, a TNA X Division title match. That's what it's gonna look like.
That's a great point. It's basically almost like a tag team X Division match, such a
Would it
hybrid
be
style.
would it be crazy for them to challenge Fraxium to an Ultimate X tag match for the tag
Oh, that
titles?
would be
That is
sick.
a TNA. That's a TNA thing. They love sitting
It's
there
gonna
doing
work.
tag team Ultimate X matches,
That would be sick.
It's not
and I
gonna
think
matter.
that would be a
They're gonna
great way.
lose.
That would be a great way to collaborate. That would be an NXT gets an Ultimate X match. TNA gets an Iron Survivor match.
Oh, that. I mean, I don't mind that concept in the least. One each way, for sure. Shotty, what are your thoughts on that one? If-
I mean, that'd be fun. It'll be dope, but it's not gonna matter because they are going to lose to Fraxium. Fraxium is the best tag team in the entire universe right now. Ain't nobody touching Fraxium. Yeah, I know they lost the titles off of some, you know, BS, but what's right is right, and they got the belts back. I'm telling you, man. I, I like chaos. I like broken families. You might as well call me a home wrecker at this point because I think we need to go ahead and do the same thing. I think Zachary, I'm related to Carson Wentz, goes ahead, takes that pin of a loss, and Trey Miguel's like, Wes was right, and beats him, and then Wes is there, and they just all are tussling and fighting each other. Because I think a lead up to a Rascals triple threat match for that X Division championship is what needs to happen. I know it's madness. They can reunite after. Maybe it's one of those cases where you just gotta go to the yard and fight your brother. Have a little tussle fist to fist, and then you can make up and hug after that type of situation. Get all the animosity. But I feel like that might be what happens. In regards to tonight's match, decent, not offended by anything. It did its purpose. A lot of interference towards the end of it, which helped the Rascals get the win. Um, we're gonna get some. I like Hank and Tank, by the way. I gotta also say that. I really, really enjoy these guys, and and it's more Tank. I really like Tank. I like Tank better than the Singer Tank at this point in day, because the Singer Tank is wildin'. I think Tank is he reminds me, like, I think you may have even said it before, Jersey. He's like Otis a little bit to me. He's got that
Oh,
charm. He's got that energy, that charisma. Like I see a bit of like star power in him. I'm not saying he's about to be some multi champion, but like I see he has a role in WWE for a while if he continues this, because he's a very fun wrestler, dude, and he's got a lot of charisma when he wrestles, and he's a strong dude and whatnot. But like the backstage segments and all of that type of stuff, like he's a person you want to root for. So I do think those guys, like, when they win the tag titles at some point, I think the NXT crowd is gonna go crazy, because like they're a fan favorite waiting to happen. Like how Chase U was, I think they're next in line to kind of capture the fans' hearts, just because they got an infectious personality. But it's still Fraxium all day.
I hear you. Would you say that you prefer Tank because Hank is not that much shorter than Henry? Is that part of the reason? I mean, I like both, but I do hear where you're coming from on Tank being the star of the team
they
for
give
sure.
they give heavy machinery vibes.
Hey
But it's
man,
always bothered me that Hank is really not that. It's like, right? Like
His
Charlie and
the
Charles is the same length. Like it's not, that's
oh,
not
off of the
shorter.
nickname was, yeah.
Yeah. Like it's like You're
I mean,
not
I go
even.
by Shad because Shadman's is a tongue twister to people. So
But
It
it's
is.
also like, right? It's logical. You cut some letters off, right? Like you
yeah,
shortened it to a logical
yeah,
spot
Hank
there.
Henry. Yeah, you right.
Yeah, it's like
It
Hank and
just
Henry.
got
It's
it
like,
got it got it fits his it makes him seem tougher, right? Like I feel like if your name
yeah,
is Hank, you're at like a biker bar. I mean, he look like he's a plumber, so
yeah. It is
Man,
home run King Hank Aaron, not Henry Aaron. I mean,
yeah,
well,
it's true.
you can say both, but like he goes by Hank. I sorry. Speaking of TED Talks, Drizzy
But
from earlier, that was
Hank,
that was
it's
my TED
Hank.
Talk on
That's a
Hank and
that's a
Henry.
tough name. He a tank.
He's
yeah,
a tank.
so
That
like
can't be
Hank
short for
Hill,
something.
like
Salute to
Hank
those
Hill.
guys, man. I'm gonna be hyped when them fools win the
It's
title
gonna
at
be
some
a
point.
feel good. It's gonna be a really feel good moment when it happens, when they get whatever
Yeah,
big win that they get, because they're so likable, and especially Hank, who's been on this journey for a while. The crowd
Mhm.
really gets behind him.
Yeah,
absolutely.
he was a security guard, and then his role was a security guard, and now he's a wrestler.
Yep. Yep.
And now he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
We've got up next, Shad. I know you've been just chomping at the bit to talk about this one. It's Tatum Tuesday. We've got Tatum Paxley versus Rosemary, and an interesting return here on NXT.
I am about to do something very unprecedented in this show because we always do this for the end of the show, but my little heart can't it can't just ooze out of how much excitement it is. It's been a rough week, and this has made my week already amazing. It's not really been a rough week. I just gotta make an excuse for it. My moment of the night, early delivered for y'all. I'm sorry, Clark. I'm doing this a lot different. Ben, rewind, peep it back. You'll see what I'm talking about. Tatum Paxley versus Rosemary, the spooky girl from TNA. I remember Drizzy on Sunday said, "Your girl better watch out. She better not mess with Wendy because she got reinforcements." She handled that tonight, Drizzy. Tatum Paxley getting a win over Rosemary. Finally, Tatum Paxley gets a W, but the numbers games come out. The number games come out, and Rosemary and Wendy Chu's alliance attack poor Tatum Paxley, have her to the ground. What will she do? Who will come and help her? What friend does she have left? Caw, caw, Lyra, Valkyria, like a phoenix from the ashes, rises to the sky and embraces the friendship that we all have been waiting for to see, which was once looked as an enemy, is now back to a friend. Beats down and gets those spirit Halloween girls away from the ring, and we got reunited, and it feels so good. My moment of the night is Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley reuniting. We saw them embrace in a Drake and Josh hug me brother type of moment. Man, if this doesn't make you feel good, you probably need to go seek therapy because this is the most feel good story out of any story in all of professional wrestling, out of any movie out there. Okay? I don't even think like a Hallmark film could pinpoint how beautiful of a moment this was. Like I don't you would need like 90 Fast and the Furious movies about family to really show you what family is because Tatum Paxley and Lyra have reunited and man, I my heart is warm as a snuggie right now because this is the greatest thing that has ever happened in the existence of WWE programming ever. The story's been it's somewhat. I got to answer. My biggest complaint when Lyra went to the main roster is what the heck is gonna happen to Tatum? We never got a resolution. But
This
my
is where
God, they made me happy today, brother.
we need Jordy on this one because this might have outshined the Oasis reunion of late as far as
Nobody cares
reunions
about those
this
old
week.
British guys.
Ugh.
I've heard better drunk people sing Wonderwall than them
Yes,
at a
I sing it
karaoke.
at my finest drunk.
Yeah.
That's actually when I sing it the best. And that's actually the only time I sing it, in fact.
Yeah. Why would you pay so much money for Oasis tickets when we got Oasis at home? And that's
Yeah,
Clark.
that's me. I'll just
Yeah.
get hammered. You find me around 11:45 tonight. I'll be singing Wonderwall.
Yeah, man. Come on.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my
Wow.
goodness.
Wow.
Driz,
Just wow.
I mean, you got anything to add on the return of Lara
I, I,
Valkyrie, our
I
former
don't think
champ?
I don't think there's anything I could
I
do
can
to
follow
top
that.
any of that whatsoever.
You like the caca?
Those bird noises I did not have on my bingo card.
The only thing missing was like a single black feather falling from the sky,
It's
and
one.
they looking
I
around like,
lost
"What is
them,
that?"
man.
And then
I
Lyra
had
comes
them.
out. No, because you
Oh,
ripped it. I remember you
I did
ripped it
rip
on
them,
air
man.
because you were trying to be Tatum doesn't need you, and now look, Tatum needed her.
now she's
Ugh,
back.
Like, man,
Now she's back. Even Bobby's laughing at this.
it's all
like,
good. We all good now. We all good. We all
What?
happy here now.
What? What a golden segment. I'm actually really glad we covered that. The reunion we all needed, the reunion we all wanted. Speaking of reunions, Oba Femi reunited Stacks with the middle of the ring.
ooh,
He might have
I'm
he was about to reunite him with what's his name, Two Dimes or whatever the dude that got
Let it
thrown
Yes.
go,
out the.
TT. I'm sure when he got slammed to the mat with that fall from grace powerbomb, he saw dimes. He saw
Yeah.
dimes. I'm sure of it. Like Tony, oh, don't walk toward the
Di-
lightning.
Dimes, am I okay?
I said, no, man, you're not. You're in the ring with Obafemi. Get out of there.
I mean, Oba retains. Who's gonna stop Oba Drizzy? Who is it?
I don't know why the family thought they were going to stop him. Tony, their heavy hitter, was not able to stop him. And I think that was the story of this match. Tony is trying to find a chink in the armor because when you have these long range, most people they do all types of study and everything. One thing that they never do is they never try back to back. And that's what Tony, I think, is getting ready to try and do. But instead of going directly back, this is why you have your family to help you. Family helps people, helps us win things. He said Stacks in there to try and let's maybe we can soften him up. Maybe let's see if we can find something that we can exploit. Now, there was absolutely nothing that Stacks could do to show Tony anything other than how fast or how much Obafemi will play with his food before it destroys it. He completely outclassed Stacks, and for the little bit of offense that he got, he reminds us why he is the champion. He just breaks out this amazing speed out of nowhere. He powers up at just the right time. And Obafemi, with that scary speed and power, we say it every week. Who's gonna beat him? Now, don't be surprised next week if you see Crucifino go up against him and Tony try to sit there and figure something out there. But I'm not. It's not looking good for the family. They're gonna be reunited with the trainers room. That's what's about to happen.
Yeah, I think basically the only option at this point is cheating. Like that's like
Hey,
you'd
they're
have to.
mobsters. Why not?
That's what I mean. Like it's time to kind of revert back to the old ways if they're gonna
You know,
get.
it's like this whole new clean doing
Yeah,
things upstanding ways not working, Tony. You're gonna have to go back to the back to the mud.
you gotta. They're gonna have to do something sketchy. It's the only way. I mean, the guy is the scariest dude on almost any roster, let alone like just NXT, the WWE. Like
It-
Obafemi is that big, strong, and fast,
but you
and
know,
it's like,
do you know what the beauty of it though is? It's
yeah,
Obafemi is also one step ahead of them. He's smarter
Psychologically
than them.
genius. Yes.
Yeah. And
It's
I think
the
that's where like you see the like I thought the greatest thing about tonight's match was obviously him utterly destroying that young man.
Poor
And
guy.
I love seeing Obafemi is one of the rare big guys that make squash matches look like dominant squash matches. There's a lot of big guys nowadays that do the big man moves, and you're like, it was cool, right? He got the squash, but like Obafemi's power, athleticism, and all that, it makes it look way more impactful. His just overall presence, it's incredible. But Tony D'Angelo's facial expressions of worry and just looking scared while he was completely manhandling his little man, like that is what made me think like, man, this is gonna be there's gonna have to be some bit of Tony D'Angelo trying to get back to the table and try to reassess how he handles stuff. And it goes back to what I was telling y'all, man. He needs reinforcements. The reinforcement is unfortunately in SmackDown, but I really think him tying with Giovanni Vinci, like I was saying on Sunday, would have been a great call. I feel like you're gonna need more than Crucifino and Stacks to take down Obafemi. That he's just it's not gonna work. Like Obafemi is gonna power through it. I'm curious to see how we do continue the storyline because it seems like this isn't the last shake within it, and I'm cool with it because I think Oba could use a nice like actual storyline within this reign, and I think Tony D'Angelo is one of the most underappreciated storytellers in regards to storylines in NXT. He's done a good job with making like I think what's crazy? I saw a thread today. I forgot that they feuded with Hit Row on 2.0,
Oh, that's wild.
right? And then they feuded
is
with Legato as well. Like he's good with
yeah,
feuding with different styles of factions and groups and people.
Yeah.
And
because
that's
Dams was
just
still
that's
around.
crazy. That's
Okay, yeah, Dams was
yeah,
still
that's
around then.
crazy. That's how long he been in the in NXT for. Like
He's been
it's
at
going
he's
towards
been at
5 years.
he was at the beginning of 2.0. He was
Yeah,
in that War
Yeah.
Games match.
Okay. Also, when it comes to your Vinci prediction, as long as he cuts it, like we
Like the promo, like
called in reinforcements from our friends overseas,
the camera angle.
right? We called in
It's,
reinforcements from our friends overseas, and then it's like, boom! It's gonna be so good,
I
so good,
think man, I really think that joint could be crazy. Like
really sick.
they would like be a straight up like gangster Godfather esque like mob. Like
Yeah.
it'll go
oh,
hard.
Obafemi will
By the
destroy the
way,
mob. Obafemi will be stronger than the mob.
you
He
could
will.
also have
It
like a
adds.
you could also have like an ultimate Godfather who's sending the signals from Italy to be determined later to down the road. If you really continue the story on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that could be an interesting, right? Like possibilities are endless. There's a lot of directions you could go with something like that. That's fun. And I
I,
love gangster movies.
I gotta say one last thing though. You agreed with me here on the show too. Oba, don't let these little fun fans in the arena make you
Yeah,
do
no.
goofy stuff. No strutting. Walk in there,
Yeah,
heavy footed, stomping in there, doing that. You don't gotta shimmy and strut because they all saying,
yeah.
"Ooh, ooh." Like you ain't gotta do all that, bro. Like
Yeah,
that
just
ain't
You
cruise.
that
know
ain't
what?
you.
The way he just sat there and slammed that man, he can do whatever he like. I'm not gonna stop him.
That's a good point.
I'm
Actually,
not telling
touche,
Obafemi anything other than yes sir, no
touche.
sir. Would you
yeah.
how when he says jump, I'm going to just jump. I'm not even gonna ask how high.
Yeah.
Obafemi is the type of a person that could
But you know
bump
who
it,
he is scared
bump
of?
into me and spill
He
my
better
drink at a bar,
he
and I
better
buy him a new one.
he better stop disrespecting my girl Riz. My girl Riz
Ah,
put in that work. Don't disrespect that
it's
young woman.
it's big words from small woman.
Yeah,
Oh,
Riz. Don't let him talk to you crazy like that, girl. Smack him.
all right. Let's talk. Let's talk about Jada Parker. fresh off of what I think we all can agree on it. No Mercy was a main event worthy match. Like
Hmm.
that to me was it was my highlight of No Mercy. I think it was the best match of the night, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Taking on Jasmine Nix. Interesting, interesting. Drizzy, talk to me about this women's division in this match tonight.
We're starting to get depth in the women's team side now. So we've got this new form of, we're going to call it what it is. It's Toxic Attraction 2.0. And although they have all the same undertones as the last Toxic Attraction, it's just not hitting. But I think the whole purpose of it is to put a bit of a backing behind Jasmine Nix. This is why she was the single star in this match. Jasmine has so much potential, and the way that she moves her body in the ring is very Zack Sabre Jr. esque. I can see it with the right coaching. She's going to be very good and very technical in the future when it comes to the things that she can do in the ring. Just because even you can see it even from the way she enters the ring, she comes in flat on her back and without the ropes lifts herself up. That I think it is criminally under appreciated how flexible and how much muscles it takes to do that.
Yeah.
She is going to be a major. I said she is a part of the future of this 25 deep women's division.
Yeah.
And tonight was just showing the gap between the top of that division, Jada Parker, Roxanne Perez, Sorukas, and where we have the Jasmine Nix, Carmen Petrovich, those ones. It's not far at all. Number two is just as good as number 25. And it's hard. They are jockeying for position. You can tell how competitive this division is. They are rivaling the main roster and AEW currently
Mhm.
in how good these women are. And they haven't been wrestling long. Jasmine and Jada put on a really good, solid show. It did end in shenanigans, but when you have no, it's not fatal attraction, or what did they call fatal? Fatal influence. I'm sorry.
Fatal influence, yeah.
When
Toxic
you have
retraction.
when you have fatal influence, it's going to have some bit of shenanigans in it. But Jada was able to pull it out, showing how good number two is. Because until somebody beats her, she's still the number two, and she should probably go back after the women's title. The loss she took Sunday definitely gave her the little bit of knowledge she needed to know how to beat Roxanne. And like I said, this we sing it every week. I'm sure we're beating it like a dead horse. This women's division is so good.
It's so true. Driz, like think about, I mean, Kalani Jordan's the North American Women's Champion. Like they have two title belts on NXT every week. Wasn't even on the show tonight. And like the division is
She was
loaded.
backstage. Backstage she was.
Backstage. But I mean,
Yeah.
not wrestling, not
I
actively
got you.
wrestling
Yeah,
is
I
my point.
got you. I
Right.
got you.
Didn't have a match. Yeah, not that she
Mhm.
wasn't on the show, but right, like not
Yeah.
and I mean as big as anybody. It's pretty unbelievable. Okay, by the way, I misread this. And they did say fatal influence, but I thought it's for some reason I thought it said talk. Someone put toxic flatulence, and I was just like, that's ridiculous.
They are toxic
That,
retraction to me for
that's
the
just funny. It's like,
no, it's
I'm sorry. I'm okay
okay,
with
wait,
them
who
being
typed that?
a faction. They can be a group and everything, but the name is a bit of a tongue twister, and it is hard when you've had things like something like a toxic attraction for so long, and then you give us, oh well, here's fatal influence, and it's gonna be a bit of a tongue twister.
A
We're
hundred
not gonna be able to do this one, so
but not.
percent.
I totally agree. Jada Parker getting wins is needed because she's that great. Um, I'm sorry Kendall Jenner had to be a victim tonight. The Kardashian family is probably gonna have to check, but she was trying to, she's trying to talk crazy. I know her ribs were a little tender from the Sunday's match, but like y'all said, man, like you got, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Jada Parker has two classic women's matches this year. Mia Yim and Roxanne Perez. Those are two. And then you also talk about she was in the at the man, whatever the show was in Vegas, right? Where they had the little ladder match too. But like those two matches are very great matches, and those are two of her more recent matches. So the progression has been visible, but like now it's at a standpoint where you have to like really treat her like she is a top woman on this roster. She's
Yeah.
damn near solidified it at that point. So, salute to her. I'm curious to see what does go on with, the fatal influence. My only issue is I just wish they had matching gear. Cause them all wearing different colors and stuff like that.
Yes.
Visibly, it
It
don't.
it almost seemed
Look
like
like a team.
it
Yeah,
looked like Fallon and JC were there, but Jasmine was like, "I haven't got my new gear yet, guys. Can
Yeah.
we just wear red?" And they're
yeah.
like, "No,
Like if
we're gonna
you
wear
like if
black."
you're a
My
heel,
uniform's on back order.
if you're a heel, you gotta have like more menacing, darker colors to your ring gear. You looking like it's
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, but it is what it is.
I
It
mean,
was
yeah,
a little Valentine's-ish. I agree. I couldn't agree more. Okay, Driz, you want to do your moment of the night really quick?
yeah, sure. My moment of the night is the ending to the Pete Dunne Trick Williams match. It's very reminiscent of feuds like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, uh, Matt Hardy and Edge, Taker and Foley. If you want to get to the destruction aspect of it, these two cannot be in the same room with each other without wanting to rip each other's heads off. And why? Because Pete Dunne didn't want to didn't talk respectfully to Trick Williams 2 or 3 months ago, and ever since, that's what this feud is about: respect. Pete Dunne doesn't respect anybody anyway, so why Trick thought he was getting it from him any in any form, I don't know. But this it just shows how much what people are willing to do for their respect. For you to look at me and say, you know what, you can be a champion. It almost feels like Pete is doing all this to intentionally push Trick to the next level because Trick he's very at times can be very just happy to be here. He got the championship out of a feud that pushed him to a level, but he wasn't all the way there yet. This feud with Pete Dunne is pushing him there. It's like he had a taste of it with Mello. Now with Pete Dunne, oh, he's fully in it, and I think this is also gonna just give him the confidence he needs to go forward to get the belt back. So this this whole ending, this whole feud is doing wonders for Trick Williams.
I agree 100% with that, Driz, because the timing of it. Trick had the run leading to Mania that we've documented, and it had so much to do with his rivalry with Carmelo Hayes.
Mhm.
The reign didn't last as long as I think any of us expected it to, but keeping Trick at the top of the card and relevant all the time in rivalries like this with Pete Dunne has done a world of wonders for his future. I think I think you broke that down absolutely beautifully.
Mhm.
My moment of the night, though, Julia, what a presence. That entrance. Oh, the intimidation factor, just facial expressions. We talked about the Obafemi and the strutting earlier. Shot could maybe take some notes there. It's spooky as could be. Just ice cold, even like the little smirk during all of it. I love it. I cannot wait for this match. And I'm just fired up in general. Julia, a heck of a talent. Shad,
The
you know her as well as anybody.
the
I mean, so good.
beautiful madness is what they call her now, and
Yeah,
that that works, man. She's a beautiful woman, but don't she look like Trunks from the future from Dragon Ball Z, like I was saying, like she
absolutely
coming in to wreak
terrifying.
havoc. So yeah, man, the rich get richer. I said it on Sunday, man, and we got Stephanie Vaquer coming soon too, which is kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
And
kind of crazy to think about.
Delta too.
That's a
Uh,
rumor. We can't say that.
allegedly,
Oh, sorry,
allegedly.
we
But
don't do that
Stephanie
here.
is Steph is confirmed, and y'all saw what Stephanie Vaquer does. Her and Mercedes
Yup,
Moné is one of my favorite women's matches of the
so
entire
good.
year. By the way, this isn't NXT related. For y'all still hating on Mercedes Moné, get a life.
I love
Please,
that. Yeah,
please.
please do.
See,
I mean, honestly, though, by the way, guys, that does, I think, bring us to the end of the show tonight. It's everyone have an excellent Tuesday. This is my last day as a 32-year-old, and I'm glad I got to spend it with all of
Oh
y'all.
yeah, you got an hour left.
Have an awesome, awesome Tuesday night. Check us out every single day on the daily broadcast at noon Pacific. That's 8 in the UK, 3 o'clock East, of course, 9 a.m. in Hawaii. Sunday night spotlight. We got all kinds of stuff coming up all out this weekend. Tons of shows. Have a good one. We'll talk to everybody soon.
And that